Today we are rebuilding the Memphis Grizzlies, one of the worst teams to start the 2023 NBA season, and we are going to take this young, talented roster to a championship. This will be part one of a multi-part series. Let's get into it. So I imported my NBA and NCAA rosters into the commissioner mode. If you guys want links to those, they'll be in the description. Now I'm just setting up all the settings for the rebuild, making sure I get all of the correct games so I can have 82 games, making sure the playoffs are set to rounds of best of 7, and I'm just changing the difficulties, making the quarter lengths as long as possible, making sure the settings are as realistic as possible for this rebuild. So let's take a look at the team. It's obviously going to start off with our best player, Ja Morant. Now, he will not be serving his suspension in Hoopland. In Hoopland, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can flash guns around, it doesn't matter. We have Desmond Bane at the 2. Great scorer, just got a big contract. Zaire Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., former Defensive Player of the Year, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard to add some scoring off the bench. I'd be lying if I said I knew who Jake LaRavia was. D. Rose in his return to Memphis, Kenny Lofton Jr., David Roddy, Marcus Smart, who we acquired from the Celtics, Xavier Tillman, and Steven Adams, who unfortunately did suffer a season-ending injury. But in this world, there are no injuries. Everyone is healthy, and I think that I want to have Jaren Jackson starting at the 5 so we can have a little bit more scoring on the court at one time, and I want to send him to a contender. The first team I'm thinking is the Los Angeles Lakers to give them more depth at the 5, because obviously Anthony Davis plays the 4 and he plays the 5, probably plays more of the 5, but if we gave him a true center that can take up some minutes and kind of relieve some of their starters, I think a first-round pick would do it, and just like that, Steven Adams is a Los Angeles Laker. Not to say there's a logjam at that position for them, but they're definitely going to have to figure out how they're going to spend those minutes and make sure that this trade is actually going to be worthwhile for them. But that is their problem to figure out, not ours. We get a first-round pick, and we free up some spots in order to put in some young players, like maybe potentially Xavier Tillman, who is currently not even a starter. I'm going to adjust all the minutes, and I will show you guys what I decide to rock with for Season 1. Here are the starting minutes for Season 1. Obviously, Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to be taking up the majority of the minutes. We're very starter dominant, and then, we have some guards and some scoring off the bench, but majority of our minutes are going to go to our star players, and hopefully this team can be carried and top heavy enough to where we can actually make a push in the West. I don't know if we're going to be able to contend in year 1, but we should definitely make the playoffs with this roster. I'll see you guys at the end of Season 1. Alright, the season is over. Scoot Henderson is the all-rookie first-team guard. Brandon Miller, all-rookie forward. And Victor Wembanyama, all-rookie center. Ja Morant leads the league in assists. James Wiseman, kind of a bum, leads the league in rebounds. Wemby wins Rookie of the Year. Luka Doncic wins Defensive Player of the Year. That's pretty wild. And he wins MVP too, so had a hell of a season. And of course, with Luka winning Defensive Player of the Year and MVP, they finished first in the West, second overall in the league. And we finished in a decent spot overall, filling in at 9th in total record, as like I said, Ja Morant led the league in assists. He had 19 points, 5.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and almost 3 steals per game. Desmond Bane with 20 points led the team in points overall. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 16 points, 7 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks a game. Xavier Tillman had about 8 points a game. Brandon Clark off the bench. Luke Kennard gave us a little bit of scoring, and that looks like it's about it. Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose didn't really get involved too much. Probably will definitely be more involved with Ja's suspension, but we're not doing that here. But even with those 2 scrappy guards not getting a ton of time, I'm still just happy to have their veteran presence on the bench. As far as points go, Luka, Jokic, and Curry in the top 3. And look at all the double-doubles from the Jokic, Sabonis, and Doncic. Alright, it's time to check out the playoff bracket, and it looks like we are going to be taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. They are the 2nd seed. Somehow we are the 7th seed. Even though we had the 9th best record. I guess that shows how top-heavy the West is. As looking at their overall points, looks like CJ McCollum having a good year, Brandon Ingram and Zion both averaging over 19 points a game. So for the playoffs, obviously the bench is going to shorten up just a little bit, so I'm going to adjust some of the minutes and show you what I end up going with for this first round. Alright, here are the playoff minutes. Obviously our stars are going to be getting the majority of them, and we're going to get a little bit of help off the bench. I just want to make sure our stars are actually in when we need them to be, because we need to compete with the firepower that the Pelicans have have. And I will be quick simming a lot of the games unless they're either closeout games or just big games in general where momentum really swings. So for this first quick sim, let's see what we've got here. We take down the Pelicans in New Orleans 102-90 in the first game of the series. Quite the flurry of points from basically all of the starters except for CJ McCollum. Not a lot of bench production for the Pelicans, but I think we can say the same for us as we only had 10 points off the bench. Ja Morant having 10 rebounds and 22 points. Go ahead and quick sim the second one here. We lose 71-91, so the series is tied up 1-1 going into Memphis. I'm not super happy with the production from Jaren Jackson Jr. in these playoffs, so I bumped up his minutes just a little bit. I shortened up the bench even more, and we're going to be taking on the Pelicans here in Game 3. First home game in Memphis, and it's a win, 93-86. We weren't really expected to beat this team. I mean, they're the second best team out west. We really are neck and neck with this team. They're barely a point better than us in scoring, and honestly, if it wasn't for steals and blocks, these stats would be damn near identical. And for this second home game, we are going to be hopping into it in Memphis. Let's see what the home crowd's got for us. Can we get a 3-1 lead? If we get a 3-1 lead, it is impossible for them to come back. Well, most of the time. We are halfway through the second quarter. Luke Kennard getting the pick and roll at the top of the key. He's getting double teamed. He doesn't care. He's doing a little finger roll. Gets the layup. Trying to add a little bit of spark off the bench. Brandon Ingram ISO at the top. They're trying to isolate Luke Kennard. They're doubling him. He doesn't care either. He's doing the exact same thing. He scores the layup. Now Desmond Bane is on fire at this point. He gets a high pick and roll. He loses the ball. Almost a backcourt violation. They're pressing him. He does a step back. Luke Kennard from 3. He's got it. Adding a huge spark off the bench as he is now on fire. McCollum at the top of the key. Brandon Ingram ISOing at the top. He's pulling up and it's off. But Larry Nance Jr. gets the rebound. CJ McCollum gets it to Zion, who's unstoppable, but Jaren Jackson Jr. blocks it. Desmond Bane at the top of the key kicks it down to Brandon Clark, who puts a little floater at the top, and he's got it. Just over 2 minutes left here in the game. It is a 5-point game. In Game 4, Zion Williamson gets a layup in. He's got 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals so far in this matchup. There's not a whole lot of time left, though. Can Memphis hold on? Xavier Tillman backs down. Larry Nance Jr. puts the skyhook up and in. He's got 7 rebounds and 12 points as well. Backing down, Ja Morant. Pass it out. He doesn't. He puts the floater up and he misses it. Now on the other end, Jaren Jackson Jr. backing down Zion Williams. He puts the floater up. It misses. Back to Ja Morant for 3. It's off. It rolls in and out. Brandon Ingram gets the rebound, and he's got a head full of steam. Dyson Daniels backing down Desmond Bane. It's rolling off. Desmond Bane gets the rebound. 1 minute and 17 seconds left. It's a 5-point game. They are not going to foul. Desmond Bane pulls up from 3. It's off as well. No one can make a basket. Zaire Williams gets it in, and it's a 7-point game here with 1 minute and 10 left. Memphis is in the bonus. Ja Morant ISOing CJ McCollum at the top. He's trying to take it to him. The spin move, the lob to Zaire Williams. He dunks it in with 16 points so far tonight. 42 seconds left. They kick it out to McCollum, who gets fouled. And 1, they're going to count the bucket. You cannot foul in that spot. What is Memphis thinking? McCollum's free throw rolls out of the rim, and Jaren Jackson Jr. recovers it. They are still not going to foul. 36 seconds left. Ja Morant underneath the finger roll. It's off. A quick score. They should have taken more time off the clock. CJ McCollum ISOing again at the top. Kicks it out to Brandon Ingram, who shoots the 3. It banks off the front of the rim and it goes out of bounds. Brandon Ingram in transition. He's going to kick it up to CJ McCollum, who's going to do a step back. He's going to shoot the 3. This is one last shot. It banks off the front of the rim. Dyson Daniels puts it in, but is it too little too late? There's a 4-point gap between these two teams. They're going to foul Desmond Bane. He's going to go to the line. He's going to miss the first one, and if he can just sink the second shot, Memphis will take a 3-1 lead. He does, and that is going to do it for Game 4, 89-84, as Desmond Bane, 17 points, 14 assists. Kennard was a huge spark plug for us off the bench with 11 points. Pretty well-rounded output as far as scoring goes from the starters, and you look at the other team, Brandon Ingram trying to put the team on his back. Now, Game 5, back in New Orleans, we're going to quick sim, and we fall 76-81 as it is now a 3-2 series. Larry Nance, 16 points, 16 rebounds. Now Game 6 here in Memphis. Will we close out this series 4-2, or will it be knotted up 3-3 going into a Game 7 in New Orleans?